break down exactly how we help this higher end fashion business generate an additional $500,000 in 3 months because of Facebook ads. We've now been working with said client account for about 4.5 months, and we've profitably scaled their business by over 40% in that time period. And I want to show you some of the ad creatives that we've made for this client and the evolution of said case study. If you're new to the channel, you don't yet know who I am. My name is Justin Lalonde, and I'm the founder at paidadvertising.com, where we help businesses implement a scalable ad engine and grow e-com and info businesses to multi-7 figures with paid ads. And with that said, last year we've profitably spent and advised on about $15 million in ad spend on the behalf of our clients. And let's get straight into today's video. So as you can see on screen right now, I am on the client's Shopify. And so if I refresh for you right here, this page for you to see said results, if I go from September 1st, 2024 all the way to January 10th, 2025, we generated $672,000, which is a 39% increase compared to the previous year. And if I simply show you Q4 as a whole, so October all the way to the end of December right here, and I'm going to compare that actually to the previous year to make this more fair. There you go, still consistent with a 39% growth and about a little over $500,000 in sales in that time period. So as you can see from the average order value, this is a slightly higher end fashion business. They sell cashmere hats, which actually are going for $200 and above USD. So again, I'm going to qualify that as a slightly higher end business, all things considered. Now, one of the first things I do want to tip my hat off to said client is definitely on how healthy their backend is. So we've been directing traffic to a landing page with which we've collaborated with their internal team, essentially, which they're the ones making it. But nonetheless, I do want to tip my hat off to them, because there's one metric I keep talking about on YouTube that is incredibly important for us to succeed with paid ads, and that is the Shopify Health Score. That essentially is a combination of two metrics: average order value, so AOV, times the online store conversion rate. And so your goal ideally is that AOV times online store conversion rate should equal or be above 250. And so if you do the math right here, 236 times 3 is definitely well above 250, which, knowing that and seeing that, gives me the confidence needed in order to really scale the ad side of things. Now, before I dive deeper into said case study, I want to cut straight into a very short clip of the clients, so the CMO essentially and the CEO of the business, giving us a few kind words about their experience working with us.
I wanted to, before you guys take off the meeting, I just wanted to say thank you for all the work that you guys been doing for the this little company. So I really appreciate everything that you guys been doing.
Well, my pleasure. Of course, always. Well, thank you. That's music to my ears. Anything specifically that stood out, by the way, like anything that you're like, I love to see this?
No, just, just strategy and consistency and openness to Paul's feedback. I think those three things are great.
Yeah, love it. Awesome. Well, really appreciate that. Means a lot.
Now, kind of getting back into the numbers here, before I show you the ad account and before I show you also some of the creatives that we produced for this client. Well, first of all, let's go month by month. So this client actually came to us somewhere in the middle of July of 2024 with a goal of starting in September of 2024. Why? Well, they sell winter hats, so they are quite a seasonal business. Q4 and usually early Q1 is their best time of the year. That's where they make the most amount of money online. And last year in 2023, was their first time ever running paid ads during this time of the year. And so they were still relatively new to paid ads, all things considered. They had done well outside of D2C, so essentially in more so retail space. And they had now started to sell online in the last few years, mainly through the people that already knew them from retail. And last year was the first year they ever ran ads. And they wanted to get ready and prepare in advance this year to not miss essentially the wave of, or the market trend, if you want, in other words, that comes with seasonality. But I'm going to start here by saying that first month, we actually did not as good as they did last year. So we're down 17% in revenue. And to add insult to injury, we actually spent about $9,000 this year in September, whereas they hadn't spent much the previous year on ads. And so seriously, I do want to say it, case studies are not always, roses and rainbows. And that first month was really kind of a trial, if you want, of our skills. Nonetheless, we got a 3x ROAS based on ad spend. But again, still, like if you look into back-end revenue, did that translate into more revenue for the business? The answer is no. But now let's look into month 2. So if I look into the month of October right here, this is where, comparing year over year, we're up 23%. So already there, we're starting to make up for the loss of the previous month. And so up 23% in revenue year over year, $61,000 in sales right there. And now if I move on to Facebook right here and I show you the month of October, we spent about $27,000 on ads for attributed revenue of about $54,000, which is slightly lower than the overall reported revenue of the business according to Shopify, because they also do some email marketing on their side. Now, ROAS reported on platform is at about 2x. And so that said, if we look now into the ROAS of the previous year, you can actually see that they spent a lot less money last year in October. It was kind of one of their first months of running paid ads ever for the business, and they hit a 1.13. So again, nothing really to brag about, but nonetheless, we were happy that we were able to beat that and do better on year 2 only of them running ads. Don't worry, by the way, I'll be getting to some of the creatives that we've been running and kind of the backbone of said ads in a few minutes. Now, going on to month 3, which is actually the Black Friday month. Now, that being said, we're technically, I wouldn't say we're down, but we've got to maintain year over year. You got to say that, like, for a lot of businesses I look into this year, it's pretty much what happened, because when you look into 2023, Black Friday, Cyber Monday was entirely fitting inside of the month of November. Whereas this year, it overlapped with the start of December. And so it's kind of unfair to compare November of this year versus November of last year, given that Black Friday again was split between November and December. But nonetheless, that just tells you how good Black Friday was, because I'll show you December in a second, which was just amazing as a month. But already right here, $176,000 in sales in November. So basically like a 3x from the month prior, maintained compared to last year, whereas last year they had the entire Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. Again, I'll get back to that in a second. Now, if I show you from an ads manager perspective right here, if I show you from an ads manager perspective, in November 2023, they spent $14,000 at $38,000 in attributed revenue for 2.66 ROAS. And now if I go all the way to this year and show you the month of November in its entirety, we spent $48,000 with $127,000 back in attributed revenue for 2.65 ROAS. So again, all things considered, went pretty well for a November month. And now, if I show you December, before we get on with the ad creatives in itself. So December was by far the best month that the company has had online with the business. $341,000 in generated sales. You can see the huge peak at the start of December. As I just said, this is just comparing Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? So it's normal to see said peak. But even then, right? Like as we were approaching Christmas, we ran a lot of holiday gifting angles. I'll show you some of these ads in a second, actually, and they did amazing. I mean, look, at our peak during the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, which was during the weekend on December 1st, we did $32,000 in sales. And purely with our holiday gifting angles, we did $31,000 on December 11th. And then we did again $28,900 on December 15th, which is really good for a non kind of promotional time of the year. And so if I now show you on the ad side of things, and again, to be fair, I'm going to compare year over year here. So if I go and show you December 2023, they had spent $30,000 for $94,000 back in attributed revenue for 3.05 ROAS. And now if we go to this year, for the month of December, we spent right here $92,000, so basically 3x the amount of ad spend that he had spent last year for $262,000 in attributed revenue from ads, specifically at a 2.84 ROAS. So in other words, we kept on scaling from what we had built up and the momentum that we had during the month of November. And now, I mean, the month is not over yet, but nonetheless, I'll show you essentially what we have so far in January. I mean, if I show you January 1st to January 10th of 2024 that they had on their side, was about 9,000 in ad spend for 14,000 in revenue at a 1.48 ROAS. And if I show you now this year to date, which again is about 10 days give or take of ad spend, 23,000 so we're at more than 2x in ad spend for 76,000 in revenue at 3.21 for months to date. And again, if I go back to their Shopify and show you right here, we're actually at 54,000. So it's actually the first month that for whatever reason, we were seeing more purchase conversion value coming back from Meta than their actual amount of sales on Shopify specifically. We ended the year pretty strong towards late December. So we were thinking, is it late attributions? It's just an over attribution problem. We'll look into it, but nonetheless, just to say that so far year to date is doing also equally as good. And so going back to the essence of said case study and story in here, like what does work? What were the ads that crushed it the most? Well, let's look into it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to my ad account and I'm going to open up all the way from September until now. and break down essentially if I go to the ad level and I show you ads broken down by ad spend. So you can see it like our top ad spent about $20,000, which is 10% of the total ad spend that we spent during that said period. Ad number two, $17,000, then $13,000, then $13,000, $8,000, and so on and so forth. So we had several ads that spent in the thousands, but a handful that spent in the 5-figure range. And so funnily enough, you can actually see it with the naming convention right here. Little typo, it should have said DCT, but nonetheless, this is our second dynamic creative test that we launched on this account. So this is the second ever creative that we've made for this client that ended up actually becoming a highly scalable creative on this account. And so I'm gonna actually show it to you on screen right here. So if I open this up, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go Facebook post with comments to show you, and I'll start going through copy with you. So one of the things that we realized for this client is that the people that were primarily buying were slightly older demographics. So we're talking 45 plus, and it was going down actually. The older the demographic, the more purchases. So 65 plus was the first one, then it was 55 plus, then it was 45 plus, and so on and so forth. And something that I've tested internally with time is that anyone essentially who is 45 plus typically tends to react better to longer form copy. And so we tried and went with some slightly longer form copy, and perhaps copy that had a little bit more storytelling inside of it. And so if I look into the set DCT right here and I go into my research center, which I have opened up in front of me. So DCT number 2 would actually be, I want to invest in a high quality ad that will last for years so I can avoid the frustration of constantly replacing worn out hats, so I can feel confident in my purchase as a smart long-term investment, so I can enjoy the comfort and warmth of a well-made hat every winter without a worry. So that overall is the market desire. We're talking to somebody who's solution aware, so they've tried other hats or other methods perhaps in the past of finding said solution to said problem. And so if we go back to the ad creative in itself, you're not going to hear the audio actually on your side, but the audio is just a music. It's a kind of like a calming Scottish music if you want. You'll get why in a second. So here we go. The hat that's built to last a lifetime. Now, if we keep on going, each client name watch cap is crafted with the highest quality cashmere. Our cashmere is spawned in Scotland, so that's why I say it's kind of like some Scottish kind of calming music in the background, where expertise meets tradition. Process locks in the softness and strength, making your hat as durable as it is luxurious. Pylon cashmere for 6 ply of heavyweight warmth. Made in the USA since 2004, skilled artisans, blah, blah, blah. And then as it keeps on going, we're committed to our craft. We'll repair, clean, and take care of your hat for free. Love this hat forever, or we'll buy it back. So amazing offer actually from the client right here, no questions asked. Invest in a hat that will last a lifetime. Get 10% of your first order. So again, the angle or kind of the hook or concept headline is the hat that's built to last a lifetime. And that's a pretty bold claim, all things considered. And again, it is backed by an amazing offer from the client that seriously they'll buy back the hat if anything ever happens to it, and you can always ship it back to them and they'll be cleaning it and repairing it if anything happens to it. So again, just amazing offer, all things considered right here, paired with a great creative. So now moving on to some of our other ads. Well, right here, what do you know? A catalog ad, funnily enough. And so what do you know? If I open up this catalog ad, you can see the naming convention of this campaign is A+ Holiday Catalog. I told you earlier, if I showed you again in the month of December right here. So if I went the month of December, I told you, hey, in this kind of second peak that we had, this was all powered by the holiday gifting angle that we had. Well, one of the ads that really carried the spirit of the year is actually this one. That's very simple catalog ad. So what we have right here, well, you can see it. This is more festive and kind of holiday-like colors, as you can see. So already there, we're playing it in a positive market trend, meaning people are already looking for red or kind of burgundy colors during said time of the year. Give a gift that keeps on giving. Go like the cashmere product. Give a gift that keeps on giving. Client name products combine luxurious comfort with heirloom quality, so they'll think of you every winter. From cozy hats to versatile scarves, every piece is made to last for years. Make this holiday season truly memorable. Browse the holiday gift guide now. And what do you know? This is again something I made in one of my recent videos. I showed how good and how positive for the ad performance it is when you have congruency between not only the ad creative, but the landing page in itself. What do we say at the end of this ad creative right here? Make this holiday season truly memorable. Browse the holiday gift guide now. Where do you get sent? The landing page says winter 2024, and it says holiday gift guide, and then we have gifts for her. And as you keep on scrolling, essentially everything, what are the colors that you see here? Colors, everything is red and everything is or green. So in other words, this is seasonal. This makes sense. Gifts for him, kind of the same thing right there. So in other words, this is aligned with what you see on the ad. This is also a positive market trend because we're playing with the gift giving angle. That makes sense during Christmas. And not only that, this is a winter product, so it's a perfect gift for the Christmas time. Now moving on, DCT9. So the 9th creative that we made for this client is actually our top 4, or I would call it our top 3rd place, because technically a second variation of our dynamic creative test number 2 is actually also performing pretty good right here, as you can see. So really, this is by far the best winner on this account. So DCT9, as you can see right here, again, very interesting copy. Read this, right? I'll claw your eyes out. This is what I used to feel in the grocery store at 6:45 p.m. on a typical January weeknight when someone I knew approached to chat. I just wanted to grab dinner, get home, put the kids to bed, and sleep as soon as possible. It might sound strange, but after wearing this hat for the past 2 months, my entire day feels different. From the early morning school drop off to the late night dog walk, every moment is not just tolerable, but actually enjoyable. So I'll let you read the rest, but just goes to say, we're very persona specific with the type of storytelling that goes on with said ad. So we're painting a very clear picture as to how this ad or how this product really kind of helps you day to day. And this is hard, right? And this is why I'm gonna express a little bit of pride in said case study, because fashion is hard. Fashion is the type of industry where, you know, we've actually had, I would say 60 to 70% of the businesses with which we work with in the last few years have been fashion businesses, but it's a very hard game, because what do you sell, right? You sell a feeling, there's not a lot of competitive edge you can have with fashion. Now, granted, this client does have a superior product than their competitors, and granted, they also have an amazing offer, as I described earlier. So they do have a USP in my opinion, but nonetheless, even with that, it's like there are still a lot of competitors out there in this space. And so therefore, now going with storytelling and painting a clear feeling and picture of what somebody would experience with said product is one of the best ways in order to stand out as a fashion business. And so the creative that went along with that is 3 easy steps to never get cold again for the rest of your life. So pretty bold claim. Once again, invest in a client name essentially and a product name that we have right here. Wear it when it needed and turn chilly days into cozy days for the rest of your life, guaranteed. Never buy another hat again. So again, very clear picture painted right here by said ad creative. And now I'll show you one of the last creatives I want to bring up in this video, which is this one, DCT number 1, which is funny because once again, our top, like some of our top creatives, like this would technically be considered the top 4th creative that is actually an evergreen ad, because after that we would fall within Black Friday, Cyber Monday creatives if I keep showing you the rest. And so those are evergreen creatives. It's actually our first 2 ever creatives for this client. It's funny why, because I always tell people when they start working with us, they ask me like, how many creatives is it going to take, or how long is it going to take for you to get results? And you saw month 1, right? You saw September. ROAS and spend wasn't necessarily the highest. And it's funny because the more we kept spending, the more we maintained performance with said same ad creatives. And we always try and aim for a 20 to 30% hit rate as an agency, which means 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 5 creatives at the lowest would end up becoming winning ads. So that's kind of our internal hit rate KPI that we try and aim for. Well, this client, once again, the first 2 ads that we've ever made for the client ended up becoming winning ads, which is again pretty funny, but good type of funny. Let me just put it that way. And so this creative spent $8,000, brought in $24,000 back in sales for about 2.89 ROAS. And so if I now open this up, this again is very similar kind of desire and angle, which is about the length. So wanted to keep a hat on forever, right? So the one hat you'll never want to take off. Change the way you experience comfort and warmth. Thickest, highest quality cashmere for ultimate comfort. Unbeatable comfort that keeps you going no matter what. Design lasts a lifetime. Crafted to be worn at any occasion. Social proof right here. The best investment I've ever made as the headline. And so that brings us to the end of this video. And now if you want to get similar results for your e-commerce or info business, I invite you to click the first link in the description down below to book in a call with myself and the team at paidadvertising.com so that we can help you and become your partner on Meta, Google, and or TikTok ads. With that being said, if you want to work one-on-one with me and have me review your ad accounts, your landing pages, offer, product, name it, check out the second link down below to join my one-on-one ad engine consulting program. On that note, I'm going to wish you an amazing day. Check out other videos on the channel for some more useful marketing tips, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.